everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Bought a Mic, a podcast about Superman. We're here to talk about James Gunn's latest film, very highly anticipated summer flick, heating up the screens. A little bit of a sensation, a little bit of a controversial entry in the genre. Got people riled up. We're going to get into it. Welcome. My name's Ernest.
And I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am.
Drew's here. Hello.
Shout out the Teddy Bears. Really, I had not listened to the Teddy Bears since high school.
Featuring Iggy Pop.
Absolutely mind blown that he would go with the Teddy Bears song to end like the biggest movie of the summer.
I love that high school Drew knows the Teddy Bears. God,
They're a cool band.
That's punk rock.
They're cool. These like Swedish weird like poppy alt rock bands. I have a soft spot.
No Hunter today. Joining us today is a very special returning guest, friend of the show, comic book expert, Harry Sayer. Welcome back. How you doing, man?
Woo. I'm glad to be here. I feel good that all the money I've spent on comics are finally coming in handy. My parents thought it was never going to happen, but this is the moment I get to say, hey, I have a lot of thoughts on Superman and I'm going to share them.
We got in right under the wire too before your pivot to Labubu's. Is that right?
That's true. Yeah. No, my 8 hour screed on Labubu's is immediately after. So, yeah.
Is there going to be like a crypto Labubu?
Oh,
Crypto. I can't do it. I'm not good at this.
Labructo.
I am starting like a nice like blockchain coin based on the dog from Superman. It's going to be called cryptocurrency.
See that? You know.
Wow, what a great idea. Can I give you like $500,000 just as a starting point?
I'm not going to put you on the spot, Drew, but I don't know if you love or hate Labubu's, but you definitely have some knowledge. So it's nice like living in this ambiguity right now.
I'd rather end my life than say one more word about them.
I understand.
Last time you were on was for the Tom v. Tom series for The Firm. And I think back then we knew about this movie. I mean, I feel like that was about a year ago or so. So they were in the middle of making it. So even back then I knew that there was going to be a pin on the calendar for this episode. And now I'm excited that we're here again with No Hunter, who did send in a note.
Did he really?
He said, Hunter says, have fun with your woke baby movie. Call me when it's time for the Grown Up Men podcast again. Hashtag not my Superman. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag Wonder Woman is Israeli. Whoa.
I'm excited to eventually get Hunter's takes on the movie, but it'll probably work out that he's not here because I think it's safe to say that we all like this movie, right? Mm-hmm. We're all mostly positive to very positive on it. But I want to, get some overall thoughts out of the way right up top before we get into spoilers, before we get into all the background on everything. So yeah, let's start with you, Harry. What did you think of Superman 2025?
Yeah, I mean, this was a movie that I was, I have not been as excited about superhero movies in the past, and I was not sure about James Gunn being the one to kind of spearhead Superman, because I do think it's a very specific character and a genuinely hard one to get right. So I was not wildly excited. I think I was like not wanting to get myself too excited about this, but I loved it. I think it's really well done. It's got really interesting decisions that work so well. There's stuff in this movie I never thought we'd get on the big screen, which, that's not what makes a good movie. It's just functionally, it's very well made. The cast is great, but like there are very specific, interesting choices that they execute here, and it's genuinely has me excited for a few superhero movies again, which I would never have guessed that in 100 years, and I think you all probably understand that.
Yeah, and so generally we're coming from a few iterations. I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch the fucking Brandon whatever Supermans.
Oh, Superman Returns. Superman.
One of those.
Yeah.
There's only one of those. I've seen them all.
There's only one, and I didn't watch any of them.
That's like the sleepiest superhero movie ever. Like nothing happens.
So
I would rather that than what happened with like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
just
no,
just like abject, especially considering what you're saying about like like the idea that this sort of honors the character in a lot of unique ways. Like I know, like you've said, like we're dealing with a billion different comics here, so like there's a lot of material and a lot of different facets of this guy you can fuck around with, but like I just cannot imagine that that Snyder was the man for the job when it comes to when it comes to the earnestness and like the friction between this this man who believes in good in a world that is more cynical. But so generally I went into this movie with zero positive emotional affiliation about Superman in any way, because I think the only place you would find that is in comics, and I haven't read any of them. Nothing but neutral to negative feelings about past iterations in movies. Completely neutral on the TV, and then
you are famously anti-Realm. That's a big part of this genre.
That's a good point. The only semi-positive thought I had on Superman was the Donner movie, the 1978. I enjoyed as a kid, but not like, nothing beyond surface level. It's just Chris Reeves was incredible. He was a great actor. Fuck horses for life. We hate them.
Yeah, tough.
Don't cut that into making it sound like I'm saying something.
Fuck horses.
I had a really good time with this movie. I think it's I think it's a success. It's impossible to argue against that point, whether or not you enjoy it. Like, it delivers a good time at the movies.
It's a vision, right? There's things about the vision that maybe people won't vibe with, but at least it's like, it doesn't feel like it's made by committee like a lot of these
No, it doesn't. And it manages to have things to say. And it manages to also strike a tone that, while having a lot of similarities to Gunn MCU style quippy tone, like it does, I think, carve out its own little area in there, and that I think was pretty impressive to me. Like the ability to sort of oscillate in between the earnestness of Superman,
it's corny, it's sincere,
and the need to like stick a joke a minute in there, and I think I did a pretty effective job at accomplishing that. So I had a good time.
We saw it together. We had an outing with a bunch of friends.
Big ass theater.
Went to Bahama Breeze before, got some shrimp. So the vibes were right.
Had me feeling nice.
And when I picked out that showing, those tickets, it was a completely empty theater. And a lot of the other theaters at that AMC were filling up quick. The Dolby, the IMAX, those were off the table. We just saw a regular screen, and by the time we were sitting in there, the thing felt pretty full. I don't think it was like 100% full, but it was a thick enough crowd that we were getting, as close to a communal experience as you can get, without it being, the IMAX and the Dolbys and the sort of the first round pick. So the vibe was high, the expectations were high. But me personally, I think that the lead up to this movie, I was very like wobbly on it because the trailers just didn't look great to me. A lot of dog. We'll get into the dog. I'm pro dog, but the marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. This particular dog, I'm not.
It's a lot of dog.
I might be anti.
No, we'll get into it. I like it, but the marketing was leaning so hard on Krypto that I was like, what is this movie? But I think, Harry, when you sent me that Entertainment Weekly article and the interview with James Gunn on there, something started to click where I was like, okay, I kind of get what this movie is doing. And it's coming at a very particular time in sort of modern movie history where audiences have been trained to expect certain things from this genre. And we've gotten so many of these movies for the past 10, 15, even 20 years if you want to go back to like X-Men, Spider-Man. But this particular flavor, probably like, a decade and a half or so, really the MCU stuff of it all. So we, as audiences, we kind of are entering this movie with a lot of not only expectations about what we want, but also just a pre-established starting point of this type of movie and this character and all of that. So in a lot of ways, this movie just hits the ground running without explaining itself. And it expects you to understand so much about this genre and this type of film. And I think it uses that to its advantage. And so the marketing, I think there was no real way to convey that in a clear way in the marketing. But sitting there watching it from the very beginning, from the text on screen that starts this movie, it clicked. And from then on, I was so on board. I do have nits to pick. We'll pick them. It's not a perfect movie, but I really enjoyed it. And I really felt like it was just a James Gunn movie. And I'm not the biggest fan of his last two films, Guardians 3 and The Suicide Squad. I don't like as much as the first two Guardians movies, but this one feels wholly different from everything while still feeling like a James Gunn movie. It sets a great tone for this universe, which we can get into as well. Aside from the movie itself, the 2-hour movie here, it also has to do a lot of machinations to get people on board for all the other movies that are going to come. Because James Gunn is not only the writer and director of this film, he's also the co-president of DC Studios. And, he's out there selling this thing with both hats on. Maybe you can back off a little bit, James. Maybe you're tweeting a little bit too much, Instagramming a little bit too much.
Do you really want to get back on Twitter, James? Can you trust yourself?
But there is that part of it too that, we'll get into this cast. I think pretty much every main player here is perfectly cast. It's top notch. And that's part of it, right? It's a buy-in, right? It's not just a great 2-hour ride, which it is, but I think he had to balance that piece of it being this starting point for this whole world. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but I feel like I'm way more excited for what's coming in this universe than whatever the Russos are cooking up with Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, that's just such an afterthought in comparison.
I mean, rightfully, he knows that he trusts that we're able to imagine a world with multiple superheroes. Like, what? Like, yeah, you don't need to speed through all that. I think the opening crawl was absolutely brilliant. It was effective. It was a little like hair raising even for someone who doesn't care about Superman, just because of the natural tension building of the three getting closer and closer to like 3 fucking minutes ago.
So cool.
It rocks. Someone correctly pointed out that there's clearly an edit in there because the only major unit of time missing is months, and 3 months ago is when he started dating Rachel Brosnahan, but they chose not to reveal that until later in the movie. It rules. It trusts the audience the exact right amount, I think. So Harry, are you saying to what extent in various iterations of Superman comics do other heroes and villains exist? I'm used to Superman coming in dry to a world that, it has no clue what to do with him. So this just felt like such a departure when I would have imagined that, yeah, the comics, that's not the case.
Right.
It is kind of like it is a children's fable. Like, that is like, it's such a simple, like, do good, corny character, but there's almost like an unreality and a fairy tale logic to him that stands out in contrast to like Batman, who's got to have this grounded sense of logic. This is a character who is more mythic, but like more human in the way. And such in that ecosystem, in that DC world, he stands out and he is like looked up to and revered in that way. And it's such like an interesting counterbalance and a counter force to like usual storytelling sensibilities and interests, that seeing something like that captured on the big screen is I still think it's crazy that we got it. I've still been thinking about like the idea of like this special thing got realized on the big screen is I'm still very happy about it. That's why I'm rambling on it,
Yeah, no, it is. I thought that he did a really solid job with it. He did a good job of sort of rightfully pointing out that vibe of person, it can be very easily seen as naive in the real world. And I think he ratcheted up that tension just perfectly between him and even just say Lois, for example, you know what I mean? Like, where she's like, you're a corny little bitch, aren't you? You're just a silly little boy. But it's very, I mean, it's a dynamic that you see in a lot of
dogs are
Jesus
going crazy.
fucking Christ. Oh, the way that the movie drops us in with all, it drops us into a world that is populated by what are they called?
Metahumans.
Metahumans, whatever.
Yeah, metahumans. Like he's different because he's an extraterrestrial, but like the fact that it drops us into that world, that is not something that I had associated with Superman, just because the other movies hadn't really done that as nearly as much from what I recall. So that is more true to the comic books. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what's this movie's best creative decision is. It's something I never thought we'd get on the big screen, which is that, in the comics, you've got a whole ecosystem of books and stories and characters, and they all have, internal logic and these fundamental rules, and they're all interacting and meshing. And Superman is this character that like kind of stands apart in contrast because he's just this really good guy to an extent that it almost doesn't make sense, but that is like the advantage and the joy of that character. There's an unreality and like a fairy tale aspect of like, what if there's this person that's so uncomplicatedly good that it genuinely makes other people around him better. Like it's just this really inspiring, lovely thing, in that world and DC world, like that is something that like leaves an imprint, and like that character is respected and revered. And like, just that we had a movie where there is an existing ecosystem of superheroes and they're not great. And they also aren't sure if this guy's for real, but like this guy's actions causes a shift in the world, just like fundamentally. It's a very specific thing I never thought we would get, mostly because I am used to the other movies, which are really just one hero, what Superman, in like a more mundane, banal world, and never really getting that kind of cross-pollination, that interaction.
Him and Batman just punching each other.
Yeah,
Martha!
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Why'd you say that name?
Yeah, man. I mean, we can talk about that for years. The internet loves talking about Snyder, but
no,
like,
man, we're in a new chapter of this character.
We're punk rockers.
That's yes, we are. That's what's so cool about this, is that this is not a story where I'm saying, oh, Superman is so great compared to, the Daily Planet or Lex or whatever. It's, oh, Superman is special among super heroes. And I understand the feeling that this movie's juggling too much and that it's got too much to chew on, setting up all of these pieces, but like all these pieces have a genuine storytelling purpose and like an integrity to being in reflection to Superman. It doesn't feel half as cynical or robotic as other connected universes that might be more focused on checklists. There's a story here about one character in an ecosystem compared to others. So I think that's a really smart, genius move that it made that I'm just really happy about.
That I absolutely agree with. I don't like the bloating in this movie doesn't feel as it doesn't feel like a function of a crowded room in the way that a lot of MCU or some DC style bloating is.
Yeah.
That said, I still did feel bloating. I think it became one of those Sophie's choices of like, I think Gunn and DC at large really wants these movies to be pretty compact, which I respect a lot. I think that's cool. It's sub 2 hours. Like I talk about a thing I never thought I'd see in a fucking superhero movie.
A short one.
Yeah, exactly. It just it leads to me either wanting a couple of things just like omitted, or give me, let's take a little bit more time and dive in. Because I was enjoying most of what I was seeing here. I like the general idea you bring up of him standing out among the world, but also superheroes. Because this is an archetype that we've seen a million times, like outside of the superhero world. I mean, I'm sure you could trace it back to like fucking Shakespeare or like Homer if you really wanted to. But the idea of someone that just radiates a belief in good and positivity. I'm reminded, like, one of the best modern examples is truly Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. It's just a movie about someone who you look at and you just assume you want to hate them, and you just assume that they're stupid because they just believe in the right thing.
I mean, there is stupid is not the right word, but there is like a simplicity to it.
It's a straightforwardness.
Yeah.
He has very, very straightforward beliefs, and he doesn't understand when that clashes with, you know, the complicatedness of like geopolitics or whatever.
Right. And I think we're gonna have to really carve out a section to talk about like the Kents, you know, Ma and Pa.
Yeah.
Because you know the actors that Gunn casts here, those are
just like people,
right? Well,
yeah.
they look like these normal Kansas folk that, you know, I hate to lump myself in, but I might have to. Most people would look at that couple and generalize them as maybe kind of simple and
sure.
I wouldn't go as far as stupid, but like, you know, of a certain, you know, educated intellectual capacity. And this movie and Gunn is trying to not necessarily interrogate it, but like press this button of like, hey, those types of people that you say are whatever, like uneducated or, you know, uncivilized, whatever kind of generalizations you want to make.
I didn't say any of that.
Are actually perhaps the most kind-hearted and emotionally capable, and they are able to tap into this humanity that a lot of us maybe can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the I don't want to jump to the ending, but sort of the final moments of this film, like the final note that it leaves on is this realization that Superman's goodness comes from that and not from his genetics. That's sort of kind of like one of the big ideas that Gunn is presenting.
And it's in, you know, it's done in a way that it's almost a lot like the Rian Johnson Star Wars movie, where it throws out an amount of expected lore in a way that pisses plenty of people off. But I absolutely loved it. I love the choice.
I do too. I'm not gonna, to be clear, I'm not doing any like the pushing the glasses up in my face and saying it's not actually like the comics. No, this is its own story. It makes its own choices.
I mean, what are you know, you gotta bring up what we're pulling from. I have no idea.
Let's do a spoiler warning. We're gonna spoil this movie. If you haven't seen Superman, we talked about it.
Go see it.
Spoiler free until now. This is your warning. We're gonna talk about the movie. Okay. Warning. That's it. You've been warned. So
warned.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, is Jor-El.
Plays Jor-El.
I squealed in my fucking chair.
I just like scoffed.
He's the king.
I was like, oh. I was like, oh.
I genuinely, I think I had read that he was, and then I completely forgot, and then I saw
it just looked like one of those like AI generated rumors that you see on Facebook.
It does.
It's like Jordan Peele is directing X-Men, and I was like, I just dismissed it, and then it was real. He's there. He is Jor-El.
He's the fucking dad.
And most of his lines, it's like Kryptonian made up gibberish language.
Gibberish, good for him.
Yeah, and then they translate it, and he's actually saying kill them all.
It's such a God, it's a fascinating, this is the kind of the story of the movie, is that like the choice is a little grody but also has a good heart to it, because I think the super harem stuff is like, not to skip over to just like tone issues, I think that's like James Gunn getting a little too high on his own supply, a little too much. I mean, he
sticks his narrative into Superman's narrative like a little much.
Yeah, like getting canceled.
Like there's a lot of that going on.
But so what Ernest said, I mean, basically, in the comics, like the idea is, you know, he's got it is like there's a balance. So the dichotomy of like, you know, the Kryptonian parents and the Smallville parents, and the whole idea is that they're both great and they both have great lessons, and it works out for Superman because he rocks. This is obviously different in that they're like they're colonizing eugenics, whatever is going on, like wanting to create like a dynasty and like overtaking Earth and all that. That is on its face kind of gnarly, but like the beauty of it is that it does like give Clark and Superman a decision to like what he's doing is because of what's inside him, not like some external factor, external force from the family.
Absolutely.
Which is a great. That's where James Gunn's heart is in it, and that's where like you see the beauty of why he should be writing and making this movie. You know, like he has all the good stuff there.
There also is a cohort of people online who are upset about that notion because it throws a wrench into the coolness of making him an immigrant and like doing the Israel-Palestine thing. They're like, oh, so you made him an immigrant, but the place he's from is evil, huh? And it's like, yeah, but at a certain point we need to like make it interesting and like make it a movie. I didn't think twice about that.
I haven't seen that. That's cool. It's so funny.
You can find people who are mad about almost anything if you look hard enough.
The immigrants are bad, and we do have to deport all of them.
I did briefly think that in the theater, like, I wonder if someone's gonna take it out, whatever. I mean, the other cool thing about it, just as like a story, I don't really like the Zack Snyder movies. I think they're fairly bad, but there are a lot of things to like in them. And I think like Zack Snyder genuinely did a really good job with like the aesthetics and the energy in the Krypton parts. So I like
Russell Crowe.
Like, we're not. Yes, I like this movie. It's like we're not dealing with any of that. That was done already. That was done well. As that director can do. So it's like
the Marlon Brando stuff in the original. Yeah, it was done well then too.
Now
it's obviously not my favorite, but
so is Bradley our Marlon Brando? I'm gonna say
yes. Drew says yes.
In terms of doing funny stuff to his face in a big movie.
So the analog stuff to, we haven't even said Bavaria and Marvin.
Bavaria's a real. Wait, what?
What is it?
Boravia.
Yeah, Bavaria is a kind of real place.
Boravia. That sounds right.
And Sokovia.
Yes, the Sokovia Accords. You got to remember the Accords.
When I was saying earlier about like my issues with sort of the marketing of the movie, you can kind of tell in hindsight now that they were heavily avoiding even hinting towards any of that.
I'm sure any advertising, like cold-blooded executive on earth is like, hey, what? No. We're not telling nobody nothing about that.
It kind of makes sense how, weird and kind of janky a lot of the promotional stuff for this movie was, because that is a huge plot point in this film. It sort of revolves around that, about Superman inserting himself in this conflict.
Yeah, like, and it's not, I went in, I'm sure like a lot of people fully expecting that, everyone was exaggerating the amount that it was, that A, that it was touched on, and B, that it like took a stance, and C, that it was in fact a parallel for Israel-Palestine. No, it is so direct and literalized. It's almost, it almost makes you think that he thinks you're stupid. But the thing is, most people are stupid. And I'd say more than half of people are not paying very much attention to what's going on over there. So it's much needed. It's just, I was like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, same.
James, my God.
I've had to sit on this for a while, and I'm glad we're recording this, I think a full week after we saw it, something like that. And at first, I honestly didn't really know how to feel about it, because part of me felt like it was kind of gross, and that it was really watering down the horrors of this reality. But I was also feeling like it was extremely bold for James Gunn to knowingly insert this corporate product.
It is shockingly bold. Yeah. Like
with idea.
It cannot be understated. And of course it's going to be way oversimplified when this is like, one
movie for kids ultimately.
And this is one of like 10 plots in this fucking movie. Yeah. There's a ton going on here. But my God, I was like, they're really making their Netanyahu that cartoonishly evil. Like, holy Moses.
And then they just drop him.
And then they kill him. And that's why generally a lot of people were upset about that they didn't come down harder somehow on Baravia, and I really disagree with that. They killed Benjamin Netanyahu
from the sky.
They dropped him out of the sky. Like, I think that's more than the statement I was fucking expecting out of this DC Comics movie.
It's very risky. It's extremely risky, but I think knowing that kids are going to watch this and have very weird and complicated questions about what they just saw is cool. I like that.
I also like, if I'm to have issue with it, and you know, this particular plotline and a couple others in the movie, it's more about how, you know, because we don't have a ton of time with it, the way that it is like visually transcribed, the way that it is depicted is very simplified in a way of just like, all right, I guess let's just make it like a rocky landscape, no buildings, and there's like 200 or so brown people, and they're just like standing there,
right?
You know, like that's the country. It's like, all right, you know, like we have finite resources.
That's what I mean by gross a little bit. That is just, that's the extent of it,
and they're all like Superman.
Yes,
like
so. My position, because again, I'm coming from this dorky ass comics place. The real world politics aside, I'm still chewing on that internally. I don't know, but I mean, just
nations
how that, like,
in the comics. These exist in the comics.
Yeah, I'm sure they made it. Who cares? Like, you make them up. Like, it's all made up. You know, but like that's the thing. You know, it's like it's an allegory. I loved all of that because that is the to my point earlier. That's the fundamental idea of like Superman's presence is bringing people around, and it is all about not to bring it back to the cartoon stuff, but it's about Guy Gardner, who is just a big old dumb, just a dumbass. He's fun to watch.
Bro's a walking bit.
He is he is, and like he's really fun in the comics because he is like such a clown, but he's also played serious, and like that tension is actually kind of fun for him. And just the idea of like Superman is starting, you know, even if you don't see it like literally on screen, like Superman's starting to rub off on these people where you literally just the humanist play of having like the kids raise the flag and like call out for this hero, and like another hero steps up literally underneath the flag, under the banner. Like that all worked so well for me that like I wasn't as worried about the real world geopolitics of it all, because that is like the heart of the character. And this is all very simple. This is all very simplistic. That's what this character is. It is like a storybook thing, but like,
well, it feels like a comic. I can picture flipping the comic book page and going from the panel of the kid with the flag to the panel of Guy Gardner coming down and saving him. Like, it's just, James Gunn just gets it.
Yeah, he has an appropriate amount of reverence for the franchise, for the name Superman. He's willing to take a few seconds during an action sequence to slow pan across Superman's chest. You know what I mean? Like, he gets that there's weight there, and you have to take a second, even if his instinct as a writer is to undercut all that stuff with goofs.
With little green baby.
I like, which I love. Baby.
That's cool. So generally, let's back up, because I think outside of everything he accomplished story wise and like transcribing wise, I think the success of this movie in my head is every single casting choice. I think is just mind-bogglingly good. I didn't realize until like people were sort of talking about it online that like there isn't really anyone famous in the movie, because in my head, all these people are extremely famous, I was unbelievably stoked for Brosnahan. I thought ahead of time she was the perfect Lois. Holt, we were all so stoked for. He's been our boy. Like, there are people in here that we love, but if
Skylar Gisondo.
Exactly. Yeah, we were treating Skylar Gisondo like he is like Bradley Cooper.
Dude, when Beck Bennett shows up,
everyone stood up. We did the AMC ad.
I'm so mad I missed that. You did the
I took off my 3D glasses that I shouldn't have been wearing.
I cried.
This cast is stunning.
I shed a tear.
At Beck Bennett.
Yeah, so it's got all these people, but truly, like, it does need to be celebrated that there's B list at best, probably C list and below.
Sure.
This entire movie is populated by them. Corenswet, I really
Corenswet.
I don't know. Hey, listen, he made my corns wet.
Philly boy.
I really enjoyed him. We our experience to him is probably the three of us just limited to Twisters. Him playing like man wearing polo, crossing his arms,
large man.
Pearl.
Don't forget Pearl.
That's where James Gunn found him.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He gets a pitchfork in Pearl. Sorry to spoil Pearl, but
I don't think he made much of a splash in that film.
Well, it's this archetype of actor is often it's tough for them out there because they're too hot. Yeah, he's too hot. So it's like, okay, so you're either Superman or you're like in Hallmark movies. Like there's not a ton of an in between there.
Damn,
he looks like a Hallmark movie lead. And I really enjoyed him. I think that
so if I check Henry Cavill's upcoming schedule, maybe
I don't know. He's playing like StarCraft or something.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's a
nerd.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh maybe has a Hallmark coming up.
He wishes.
No, he's great. I love him in the role.
I think he's well utilized. I think he has an inherent softness to himself. He doesn't have that like bravado. He doesn't have that depth in voice that you associate with a lot of Supermen. And so Gunn smartly picked him and utilized him as like this softer, more genuine, more almost like more sort of like blank slate, like naive, just believe in good Superman.
And I mean, Superman is very blank slate. It is it's what'd you say, 70, 80, 90-year-old character that at this
70.
point there's been so many iterations that it is kind of a vanilla type thing where you can sort of apply whatever you want onto it. And chances are there's some kind of comic that you can pull from for whatever idea you may have. And this version, as far as the performance goes, I loved how expressive he was. Yeah. And, I think we're probably going off of the incredibly low bar of some of our other.
That's part of it. That's genuinely part of it.
No mustache removal CGI in this one.
But there's a scene with Lois here when she's interviewing him.
Lengthy scene.
I just loved how passionate he came across, and
and he's like, I don't know, unafraid to look like kind of a baby.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Unafraid to look, like the wrong one.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
There's a scene where also just obviously the scenes with Lois and Clark or Superman in this movie are the clear highlight by like 100.
You had said that Brosnahan was your MVP of the movie, right?
Yeah. Oh, by far. Yeah. She is so fucking good in this movie, but also it's just the sheer chemistry they have together. I don't know what Corenswet does. It is like also just a function of the story and the framing, but like just him being this corny dork in a cynical world, like just having that inherent contrast, like it makes it like, I understand the complaint or the idea that Superman's a blank slate, but like this is like an interesting way to portray vanilla. I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's not. It's a pretty hard thing to do. And you
kind of need it though. That's sort of the point of the movie.
He just brings it in a way that I don't think the other movies have really tried, and therefore most of them haven't tried. So therefore they've never really had a chance. But I'm just glad that he did, because he landed it.
Yeah. Well, and again, the idea that we don't have to watch their relationship develop, like they're already in. That she knows. We don't need to see a new iteration of her finding out. Even though that's always an extremely fun, like cinematic moment. Like,
and there's no bloated. But we have that. We have that in the original 78 film.
Oh, exactly.
And this is something that this movie constantly acknowledges indirectly, is like, hey, we have that movie. You can go watch it. This, in a lot of ways, this feels like the second movie in a series.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
In some ways I kind of bumped against a little bit. Maybe not as much with Lois and Clark, but as we get to Luthor, maybe some of that a little bit. But yeah, just the fact that we don't have any bloated exposition to kind of fill in a lot of stuff, I really appreciated.
Well, it's a lot of it is accomplished in that long ass dialogue scene between the two of them. I think in the press cycle, someone asked Gunn what the biggest risk he took in this movie is, and he said a 14-minute dialogue scene.
Yeah.
I might have said putting Israel and Palestine in the movie and then killing Israel, but you know, it is.
That's Baravia and
Jarmanpour.
I feel like you keep
checks
besmirching these fictional
the
countries.
smeared Sharpie hand jar.
Poor.
It really is a ballsy thing, especially toward the beginning of the movie. And so, you know, I understand why he front loaded it with like some, you know, seeing his like ICE headquarters and all that. Because then to stick that in first act it's crazy and it's really effective. Again, because it's leaning on great performances. Brosnahan, you know, she's got it. She's got it. I love her. She's been well recognized for Miss Maisel. Remember she first popped onto the scene in House of Cards.
Yes.
She was like a prostitute that Doug was in love with.
That dies.
What
I think
season?
Gets killed.
Like pretty early, like 1 or 2, and she's awesome in it.
Way.
That show weirdly like like Mahershala pops up. Kate Mara.
I know that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh wow. Oh.
Yeah, like she's got the stuff. She's an awesome actress. And yeah, the movie's just kind of littered with them. Obviously, we got to just talk about our boy Nick.
Holt. Well, I wanted to get your thoughts real quick before we get there, Harry, on this dynamic between Lois and Clark specifically, because I think that what really stuck out to me is the fact that he's not really Superman and he's not really Clark in these scenes with her.
Yeah,
he's not performing. He's not performing either role.
Yeah.
He's not performing the Clark role and he's not performing the Superman role. He's sort of just him, right? I'm curious like what you think of that.
It's different and it's muddled in a good way. I don't even, that's the whole question, like who's the secret identity, Clark or Superman? The answer is they're both the identity. That's just how that guy rolls, you know what I mean?
But she's able to experience a version of him that maybe only Ma and Pa are the only other ones that get.
Yeah, no, honestly, for me, just there's not as much of a demarcation there. It is like a blend, but like just frankly, I mean, for me, the star of that show is just their sheer chemistry. Like it wasn't something where I was comparing it to the comics. It's just like these two actors are, for me, by far the most like engaging duo we've ever had. The best
it's just
portrayals. Popping. It's just that scene at the end where she gets out of the T-sphere and he's behind her and he talks to her and she turns around and they start. It's like you felt the energy, like the chemistry just explodes. It's like, oh my god, these two have the thing. And I've been kind of wondering about it because like they're having complaints there's not enough of her or not enough of the Daily Planet or not enough of her and Clark together.
You could argue there's not enough of like any.
Yeah, it's,
you know what I mean. There's just a lot of movie.
But it's like, you know, if every scene they're with is anchoring each act and it's like a wonderful scene that's setting up the point of the movie, like I'm still chewing, like, did we get enough or is it like less is more? I don't really know.
No, I was okay with the amount that we got them together. Like you said, they're very, very pivotal sort of like rhythmic scenes. So that matters a lot. I am in on the general idea that we could have just used more of Superman. In general.
Sure.
But we're just, again, we're packing in so much shit into like less than 2 hours. It's kind of mind-boggling.
Well, let's get into Lex, because as soon as Holt was cast,
the boys started hooting and hollering.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those where you kind of see the vision immediately. You're not really wondering what it's going to be.
Yeah, and pretty much.
It delivers just perfectly. I have a hard time picking an MVP in this film, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Holt. Just because I'm not really a comic book expert and I don't really know too much about, you know, all of the different versions of these characters. But from what I know about Lex Luthor, we had never really seen a version depicted on screen that fully sort of captured how hateful this man is.
Yeah.
And how sort of obsessive he is about Superman. And there's just something so specific about Holt's performance here, where he is so detail oriented
Yeah.
with everything that he knows about Superman and how he channels his hatred into fighting Superman, that I don't think any other iterations of this character come close.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, what I found interesting is like, okay, by just the best movie portrayal by far. It's a pretty shallow bench with respect to Gene Hackman. It's just not a big, or Kevin Spacey,
Jesse Eisenberg with hair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what I would just say is the comics give him more. What I found interesting about this portrayal and what I thought Gunn was doing was like, this is, the whole thing with Lex is like he's just all humanity's qualities on steroids. That's the whole idea, right? Like he's the best version, but he just can't climb the mountain that Superman represents, and that just drives him all crazy, right? And what I liked about this portrayal is that he's a little bit more pathetic. He's not like fully, but he's a little less intimidating. He's a little derpy. He gets roughed up pretty bad at the end. He's crying. he when he's, I mean it though. Like I find that interesting that like this is the portrayal of like a billionaire, like master of the universe, like taking that architect down a peg, which might be useful in these times.
Very useful.
But yeah,
I mean, I was feeling it's not as flashy as the Israel Palestine stuff, but I was feeling a lot of Bezos and Elon in this version of Lex.
Just the twerpiness of it, and like his big speech about like envy, like you're hearing it really sound when he's giving his big speech about like his envy is consuming him, it seems like he's this close to crying, like his voice is starting to crack, and I do love that choice. I think it's really fun.
It's smart, and I think it's almost in a way like baking in the fact that like we now have much more of an understanding that these guys are pathetic. You know?
Yes,
like,
I think it's very. I really like. It almost does this movie a disservice to constantly be looking at it through the comics lens. That's what I do, because James Gunn's doing a lot of interesting stuff, like that kind of move for Lex Luthor, or Krypto being. Not we haven't gotten to Krypto, but like Krypto being not a great dog, I think is like one of the brilliant things.
I thought that was so cool.
It's just such a good like move that makes Krypto like not like too corny, and like so much of this movie is humanizing Superman. So much of it is like bringing this
that's
idea
another
of
thing
myth.
That's like
it's just a normal guy.
That's another thing to make him look like kind of dumb. Like he looks like the idiot in those scenes because he can't make the dog behave.
Which for some reason is something that every other iteration had struggled so much. I think that most people had become sort of resigned to the fact that we would never get a good Superman movie just because of the nature of the character.
Sup?
And I think this movie just proves that wrong in so many ways.
My favorite scene in the movie is the second scene with Lois and Clark, where the extra dimensional imps fighting in the background, they're talking and everything.
Got it.
No, it's the 1-2 punch of like the movie outlining, like Lois is questioning everything and Clark thinks everyone is beautiful. That like hit me in the gut. I was like, oh my God, they figured it out. And then the thing with the dog, like
I have to save the dog because he's out there alone.
Yeah, he doesn't. It doesn't even seem like he likes the dog.
I know. He's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna go find the fucking dog.
But he's like, that's why it's great. He's like,
that is straight up one of my favorite lines in the movie when he says that.
Yeah, by far, it's my favorite. No, just the that's like the heroism. That's what makes this character so great. Is like it's not about like barrel chested, like I gotta. It's just more like he's like, yeah, I have to save the dog. It's alone, and there's like a beauty to that this movie taps into.
That said, I like
not big on the dog.
I don't like the way it fucking looks. I don't like that. I don't like that even in the several scenes where it doesn't need to be fake, it still is fake. Like it's laying on his chest and it's still fake. And you feel the like, despite great performances, you do feel the acting at a tennis ball at points. Like
I agree.
With Corenswet?
Yeah. Like what is
I thought, at least for him, I bought Krypto because of Corenswet's performance. But the other thing too is I think a lot of this movie looks kind of weird.
I mean, it does. And
so the dog didn't like really feel
that's definitely fair. It's just the fact that this dog plays such a pivotal role in many dimensions of the movie. Like you said, I love its function in the movie. I think that that's absolutely brilliant. It's just the idea that this dog keeps on coming around in very pivotal moments, and it looks like that bugged me.
No,
yeah, it bugged me.
I noticed it in the moment. I didn't mind it. I know some of the CG isn't great. I do kind of like I do like how this movie looks. It's so oddly, interestingly saturated, and the colors are very fun. And what I like that the camera does, back to the humanizing Superman, like not even just in the script, the way they literally, all the conversations, there's a move the movie keeps doing is that the conversation scenes are being framed with one person's like shoulder, half the body, and like the third of the frame. So it makes it feel like you're in that room, like you're looking in past someone to the character. It happens throughout the movie, which is like a good way to make the feel more grounded and in the space. You've got these fight scenes that are like, it's always like very up close, and the camera's keeping on them for the most part. Like this movie is making a lot of choices to make it feel less boilerplate,
less sloppy. Yeah,
there's cool stuff here.
Yeah, I think so. There are plenty of pieces where you could be like, oh, that doesn't look incredible. Generally speaking, I had sort of a similar take on the way that Wicked looked, although this movie looks better in my opinion. But it's like, if you were going to make a movie that's entirely filled with backgrounds that are 100% not real, and you have finite time and resources to render every single one of those frames, you either need to make it dark or make it too light. And so they washed out a lot of backgrounds in the movie, and at a certain point I think you just kind of got to accept it, I guess.
Show where they am.
Yeah, because I think he still managed to pack color in at points where it matters. There were a few moments where it really did to me. I was like, okay, this is just like it's as though you shot it with a fucked up camera, but it's just one of those, like, it feels like you kind of have to, unless you want to, unless you want to spend another 6 months making the studio work like 80-hour weeks.
The VFX.
yeah. Continue the sweatshop, keep it moving.
I think my least favorite looking scene was probably the kaiju. I didn't hate
the Stitch kaiju.
Yeah, I didn't hate the scene. Like, I liked the purpose of it. The Justice Gang trying to kill it and Superman trying to save it. Like, I found that fine, but just the look of it, I was just kind of uninterested in. Just sort of the overall like kind of color palette and framing of it.
Kind of video gamey.
Yeah.
There are points where the city feels sort of empty.
Yeah,
it feels kind of sort of NPC filled.
Right. Also, I love that people are just living in Metropolis with this happening. There's a little girl playing next to the kaiju that he has to save.
I feel like, for me, like, more than the movie feeling bloated, my issues with the pacing and structure were more that the first act is doing just such an unholy amount of heavy lifting, establishing all of this, that like you really don't feel centered or comfortable for the beginning. And I feel like the kaiju, like just the hard cut from baby kaiju to monster, is just adding to that disorientation. That was kind of my bigger issue with the structure of the movie. Like that I remember feeling like, oh wow, we're doing a giant monster now. It looks kind of odd. I agree. Yeah. Like, I think it actually got the structure and the pacing. It just clicked as it went along. It just had so much lifting. That's one of my problems with the movie. I think the first act's kind of shaky compared to the other two.
I agree. I think tone wise, I felt the exact same way. I felt like it took a minute for Gunn to sort of settle into like the lane that this movie needed to feel like. And once he did, it was like, I was very, very impressed that he found that in this, sea of slop that we already have existing. He found a way to make it feel fresh.
I mean, it starts with a downed Superman. It starts in the Fortress of Solitude. We're with
Bradley Cooper.
We're with these robots.
Dick.
Yeah, it kind of,
it's a lot.
It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
we got to meet them. We got to meet the whole planet crew. Fucking
Yeah.
Lex has 1 million little schemes going on at
Yeah.
all times through
Yeah.
this movie. It's like
And then
The
you got
portals,
Nathan,
the
Lex
pocket
is
universe.
everywhere.
Nathan Fillion's
I
haircut. Yeah.
which I love. I mean, I think that the whole like 3 centuries, 3 decades,
Rocks.
all of that sort of to kind of ease you into the enormity of what this movie is going to do plot wise
Yeah.
is extremely effective. I just bumped on, you know, sort of the look of it. And I think pacing wise, I do agree with the points you're making. And I think that I wonder how much this movie would improve if they were to add maybe 15, 20 minutes, because I could have used more a Daily Planet.
No, exactly.
Great.
That crew is fun and the setting seems interesting, but it felt like we were just there for an instant and then leaving every single time.
Wendell Pierce barely does anything.
That is the only character I felt like did not get enough time. Was
he only gets reaction shots with cigar,
which we love.
Look, he can do it. Wendell Pierce is incredible. I don't know. This story is about a world and Superman's place in it. So it's so hard for me to be like, oh, do we not spend enough time with one piece when they really are doing so much? But you know, if you don't feel fully satisfied, that's probably the gut instinct to go with. You know, like I don't know. This movie, I don't feel like the word is bloated because everything it's doing is serving a purpose within the story. It's not.
I would call it
like packing a lot.
I would call it. I like the first thing I wrote down was it's bursting at the seams.
Yeah,
and
I think that's fair. Yeah.
And I think you know
a little wonky.
You don't have to interpret that just negatively because I think that it's cool. Like it's a positive that there are that many ideas that he's throwing out there. It's just some weren't fully rendered. I think that it really just came down to wanting to reset audience expectations for the package of these movies. If there were any new DC movies to break the rule and make it longer, it would be this one. But this is like,
I know it's really funny.
But this is the one everyone's going to see. And so you can't, you know, if you're trying to reset expectations, I understand.
I go back to Gunn as writer-director and Gunn as co-president of DC Studios.
Overseer.
Right. And you have the same guy who's thinking, okay, I need it to get people excited about this new chapter of storytelling that is erasing everything that came before it. It's sort of clearing the slate, and we got to get people re-energized in these characters. And then you also have, I think maybe a guy who thinks that there's a chance that he's not going to get to make another one, and that he wants to pack as many weird, wacky comic book things that he loves into this one movie as possible.
The thing is like, what, and I mean this like not rhetorically, what would you cut? Like, what would you get rid of? Like, I feel like it's all got a story purpose.
There's a lot of purpose. Toward the back, I really enjoyed Mr. Terrific. Can someone please say his name for me?
Eddie
Gathegi?
That sounds right.
I really enjoyed him.
I was about to say his alter ego. I think it's Michael Holt. I have to look. Go on.
Shout out For All Mankind fans.
Yeah,
we ride at midnight. We are strong. We are legion.
Shout out Twilight fans. He's the vampire with dreads.
Nice.
In Twilight. Absolutely blew my fucking mind. How did she clock that?
I swear to God, she left the theater like, I'm pretty sure he was in Twilight.
That's really impressive.
I like Mr. Terrific.
I was super impressed by him, and I like the character. He was pulling laughs out of lines that didn't necessitate them. You know what I mean? Like he did a good job with delivery a lot of the time. And he is, you know, he was drawing I say the most laughter of any character in the movie. He carries like a shockingly heavy weight in the back half of the movie. Like he's all over it. Him and Lois go on their side quest to the slop world. We could spend a little less time. I understand the function of the slop world. And it's again, it is full of really cool, interesting ideas that aren't necessarily rendered how I would like to see.
I love Superman breath pushing out of the wormhole, out of the black hole. that is what I love about James Gunn. And that is what I love about the notion of somebody like him basically deciding to only make these kinds of movies. Like, he's not like a Jordan Peele or a Ryan Coogler who does Black Panther to then make Sinners. That's not what Gunn's trying to do. He's like, no, I'm just going to do this. And when you get images like that, it feels like it pays off to me.
He has such an incredible mastery of a mix of like humanistic emotion and like really good third act conclude. Like, he understands basic storytelling so well, but then he also isn't afraid to embrace the really awkward cartoony stuff of comics, but he's able to ground it in like that super solid storytelling. And, you know, my bigger concern with him going into this was like, are you going to be too gross? Straight up.
Suicide Squad is a really gross movie.
And, well,
it's gross.
And Guardians 3 like upset people.
Yes.
Incredibly mean movie.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting told he's getting the keys to Superman, I'm like, can you chill? I didn't mean like, can you chill?
No, he has a little bit of the oppositional defiant disorder thing. You know, like he needs to and so I think he channeled that into Israel Palestine. Seriously.
Well, I think yes, and I also, it's, you know, some of the gnarliest stuff in the movie, not even gnarly, like both like tonally and like almost the way they shot it. Like Lex shooting the vendor in the head is incredibly dark. Like that's not a light. And then and a different kind of intense is literally the way they filmed Krypto flinging Lex around is like super shaky camera, people screaming, like super chaotic. Like that felt like him. So he's still there, you know.
It is
differently channeled.
He is, and also especially I think that the Russian roulette scene is a great encapsulation of what he does, because also at heart he is a comedy writer, and that is taking a trope and making it in a vacuum that would be like, that's a sketch. The idea of just like, oh shit,
on the second shot.
Usually this goes to like round 6. Oh shit.
Just and immediately.
Like, and like the way that Holt is playing it,
it's so like, good.
He's playing it for laughs, but the crowd is like, oh my God. Jesus Christ.
But it's a great moment.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it from all angles.
It is.
It's a great moment for us to understand exactly how far Lex is willing to go. And I think Holt, like, there's a very specific sort of flavor in the performance there where you can kind of feel like maybe it's the first or last time he shot a guy in the head, you know. But there's nothing explicit about, like, he obviously doesn't say that, but I just kind of got that feeling from it. And you kind of need that in a movie that's as silly and as wacky as this to sort of create this gravitational center of who the villain even is. Because you might forget that Lex is like the villain of the story. There's so much going on.
Especially because, like these movies, and I would assume a good amount of the comic book material is not like wildly violent, right? Like that's not the point of Superman. In my mind, at least.
This is, I mean, with all respect, what I'm exhausted by in comics, and it's a teenager impulse, is to make them more violent and bloody and gritty. Because, like, at the end of the day, these are like morality tales. These are fables. Like, you don't need to, like, trying to make it, you know, it's exhausting to even bring up now, but trying to make it grim and gritty in a certain way is more immature than playing it straight. And I feel like James Gunn is grounding the world and giving it stakes and making it serious without posturing with respect to maybe other superhero movies made by music video directors. It's like, it just feels, it's weirdly like a mature, interesting way to like show this world has teeth. There are stakes. It is intense.
Exactly.
Even if it has cartoon stuff and our character is a little dorky, you know, like it's a really good mix, man.
100%. I think that went really well. So a lot of what happens in the slop world is good. A lot of the ideas introduced, like I said, are great. The
Metamorpho.
Metamorpho. Yeah,
I love him.
We meet our boy NoHo Hank. It's one of those voices where like the second you hear it, you're like, NoHo Hank.
You know,
even though he's not doing Russian, you know, like he's just unmistakable. I love him. He's great.
It comes at a point, we meet him at a point in the movie where I feel like we needed some kind of little wrinkle, just some kind of switch, and he offers that perfect.
Yeah, exactly. He's a curveball, and it's, you know, he serves a function. The way that it's rendered visually, I just kept thinking Cabin in the Woods. Like the, you know, the interdimensional prison situation. But I guess there are only so many ways you could depict something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the troll monkeys.
Oh yeah.
That's very fun. It's
it's really fun.
Super woke.
Yeah, generally
super shit.
You can very
super
easily,
harem.
you can very easily like be annoyed by Gunn for writing himself into Superman as like a guy who like gets canceled. You know what I mean, and then comes back from it from the internet trolls. But that is a really fun idea that Nick Holt just has a bunch of monkeys writing.
But also, it's not just a one-off gag. Like the movie is setting, like it's a small thing, but the movie is setting up like in multiple scenes, like Lex talking about the online chatter, and then like the video comes out, and then you have them start to repeat the hashtag, and then it cuts to the monk, like
Michael Ian Black.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like there's a through line that like gives it more substance than just being like a silly joke, although it is that too, obviously.
No, like, absolutely, but it's enjoyable. And then I mean, the big, I think really what the general need was, especially toward the back end of the movie, is the entrance sequence I really enjoyed, where when Lois and Mr. Terrific go in. Portal? Well, when they get through the soldiers at the entrance on the beach.
That's
the
fun.
song.
Yeah,
that
was like
a classic.
That's a super Gunn.
5 years time by Noah and the Whale, I believe.
So yeah, that's a good time. And then, you know, I think there was the need to have another big thing. And so there's the, you know, traversing with the baby through the slop world. I think it looked good at points back.
It's called the Proton River.
It's so the thing that saves it, and the thing that saves a lot of this stuff, is Mr. Terrific explaining it almost for laughs. Like the idea, you know, the idea of like, listen, you don't need to worry too much about all this stuff. Like
what works with him is that like all this stuff's ridiculous, but it's very important to him. He takes it very seriously. And that's kind of like, you almost buy it, even though it's a joke, because he's like, unbelievable. I have to really explain this to you, right? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's Gunn, you know, almost winking at you know, it's him avoiding like the Chris Nolan instinct of like, do you understand why this is it's like it's him just being like,
throws it away.
Oh, that's a proton river. Like they don't want to be in that river.
What do you want? It's a proton river. What do you want, man?
They're not circles, they're spheres. Okay, get it right.
Like because we don't need to know the deeper details of like how all this works. You know what I mean? That's not the point of the movie.
There's a thing where, like, you know, the reveal of Ultraman being like a proto Bizarro clone and all that, like that's both like, that was a moment where I was like a little tired, but I'm also like, well, we got it. It's really just a machine for Lex Luthor to pilot all of his mania like through. Like the Bizarro's the story vessel for Lex Luthor to get some hits in. He's really piloting this, and that's what the real dynamic is.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the deal? What's the deal with Ultraman? Because I know Bizarro, Bizarro is like anti-Superman. It's like a zombie clone of Superman.
Yeah,
is that what Ultraman is?
It's kind of a merge of both. So Ultraman typically is like an evil Superman from another dimension, just asshole Superman.
But that's not what's happening here. This is not an alternate dimension.
No, this is just a Bizarro. This is a super Silver Agey comic book thing. Bizarro is like a chalky white zombie looking Superman who can only speak backwards. He's basically like Frankenstein, where he's a problem, but he's kind of got like, he has a heart. He's not like evil. He's just kind of a
That's kind of what they did here a little bit.
I will bet every dollar in my pocket this guy's coming back as Bizarro. I will bet every dollar in my wallet.
That would make sense because it did. Once he's introduced, you're like, they're doing a whole new guy here. Like, Jesus.
Well, that was my reaction. I'm like, wait, the one thing you're being decompressed on and like taking your time with is Bizarro. Like, he might be the thing that comes back. Like, everything else is like go. But what, you know, I get it. Like, there's a lot happening in this movie, but like, I still feel like the basic structure of it and the actors in the heart of it keep it on rails for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't mind the movie deciding to do Evil Clone at the end, just because it's such a wacky movie that by then it happens so late, and you're primed for it because they enter the Fortress of Solitude, and then they're like, oh, it can only be opened by my DNA. So it's like,
exactly.
it's a perfect setup.
No, exactly. Like he makes all of this stuff make sense. It's just also, you know, every now and then you wish that, like, you know, hey, 5 more minutes here, 5 more minutes there. I really get it.
This is so different. This is a good problem to have. This is so much different. This is when you're fucking no offense to Black Panther 2, but when you're watching Black Panther 2 and they're setting up the fucking Ironheart TV show, I'm like, boy, I'd really like to just watch my movie about Black Panther. You know, like this is at least these are like the fundamentals are sound enough here. You can like let this pass. You know,
it's an interesting sort of like dichotomy we're dealing with here, because there are so many big ideas and so much heavy material, and it all is being weaved together in like an acceptable and like sensible way. Like it all makes sense. It all feels like it is load bearing. Nothing feels completely out of place. But I was leaving the theater, I was wrestling with a feeling of like, was that also lightning quick that it felt too weightless?
Sure.
The good
some parts maybe.
And so leaving the movie, I was actually lower on it than I am now, because the good part of the movie is when you really like let your brain sort of sink into the ideas of play. You're like, wow, he really stuck a lot of shit in there. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't mind a weightless Superman movie because of what Snyder was trying.
No, of course,
do. And Snyder was trying to be so weighty.
Yeah, it's just, ultimately this isn't weightless because, you know, it has all of that there. It just is. It's flying by so quickly that, especially if you have no background on any of these things, and you know you really need to be shown or told what you're looking at. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel like we're just like blasting through material. And like, you know, one example for like, am I supposed to care about the engineer? Do I care about the engineer?
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's in a lot of the movie. She's in a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
she's not the best.
We're just, it's just one of those.
It's just another way for Lex to fight without having to fight.
I don't even, we don't have to get sidetracked. I don't even know what the hell they're going to do with the Authority. None of that makes any sense to me,
well,
but I don't
Gunn has said that they're not going to make any movies until the script is ready. Right. So everything that he outlined in that video of all the movies that they want to put out, it's not going to be like they're going to force themselves to do it. He wants the script to be right. And that's the feeling you get from this movie. This is a script that he felt was ready and he didn't rush it. And it's the movie that he wanted to make. There's a bunch of stuff in it that maybe not everyone's going to like, but it feels like he made the movie that he wanted.
I mean, I think if you feel very strongly about like Israel Palestine, obviously you can leave being very upset if you really want to, but like if you even just take this movie in on surface level, you're probably leaving having had a good time. That's why this movie, we can talk box office, that's why it gained steam in the way that a lot of these have not been doing recently. Things have been really, really dire lately, particularly in like week over week returns on the bigger franchise hero movies. This is breaking the trend by having positive word of mouth from your average person, not from your super fan. Like it's doing well. It did what it wanted to do.
I genuinely, like, truly, and I'm not as into superhero movies right now as I am comics. But like I left that movie being like, oh wow, I'm genuinely excited for Supergirl. I might even watch Peacemaker. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Peacemaker's fine. It's
all right. So
it's okay.
But even the Supergirl scene was great too, because that's not just like a tease for her deal, although it was that. It was also like kind of closing the loop on the dog and showing
it's her dog.
Like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He made it so all the tie-in stuff actually had an internal purpose too. And that's pretty impressive.
It really, it's kind of crazy after we've had so many MCU movies that just doesn't even try to do that, where you have this that has like interior story logic that like feels good. People gasped when I've seen the movie 3 times. People gasped when she brings up that Krypto's her dog. Like that's not like a post credits reveal of a costume. That's like, a story beat that got people excited in the
Right.
theater. There's
Mhm.
such like an honesty to that, you know?
Well, they care about the dog. I think James Gunn has consistently really leaned onto little critters and guys and little Groots
Yeah.
and such.
Starros.
And Bradley Cooper.
our funniest little critter.
Yeah. He really tortured Bradley Cooper. He he poked his brain.
Yeah.
He maybe crossed the line with Krypto for some people here, because I don't think he's, other than Rocket, I mean, Rocket aside, like he really hasn't centered a animal character as much as Krypto is in this movie. And I think it maybe was a little bit too much for some people, but I don't know. There is a lot to love with Krypto, and maybe he doesn't look great. But what you're saying about people reacting in that way, it's, I think, less so about them looking forward to the Supergirl movie, which they probably are, because Krypto's going to be in it. It's about like, I enjoyed the dog as a character in this movie, and I care about the resolution of his arc.
I think the dog, the end, you know, him saving the day, I felt like he'd already done that
multiple times.
A little bit.
Yeah, so it was like a little bit. All right. I guess, yeah. And I guess ultimately, if we were to, you know, tie it up, make it cleaner, because I keep on coming back to the engineer and just how much of a nothing it was. So you're probably right that maybe the clone is set up and he's going to return as, you know, something else. But in the meantime, maybe it could have just been one, you know, mech. Like,
well, the hammer,
so
the hammer of
right.
Bavaria.
You don't
Baravia.
Ernest, I feel like you're not being respectful to these fictional countries.
Baravia is not famous for their chocolate.
I have no retorts against the engineer. I think that's definitely one of the weaker parts. But
well,
like
the
for
idea
every
of
part
like
that, you know.
Yeah, no, it's not like a huge qualm to have. It's just we're already so jam packed that like Lex's schemes are all fucking over the movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like he is everywhere all at once. He's up in Antarctica, you know, he's in Antarctica, and then he's profiteering up by, you know, having an interdimensional prison, and now, you know, now he's over here with his Superman clone, and now he's
in contact with the U.S. government and the Netanyahu guy.
I do love the inversion of like, because I don't know if you, all of the Superman movies, because they never get off the fucking ground, or they're all just paying homage to Christopher Reeves or Richard Donner's movies. Like Lex Luthor's obsessed with land in the movies. He just cannot get enough of making his own land. And this one,
he's a real estate guy.
Yes, and it's like
very
kind of exhausting, like for 40 years, this real estate shit. But in this movie, it's like, it looks like it's gonna be another land grab, but then Lex is like, no, I did this because I hate you. I just hate you so much. And it's like, you know what? Like I don't know, this stuff, like it's this movie's not perfect, but I think the stuff it does right, like I never thought we'd get here. And I know that sounds silly, but man,
I never thought I would like any iteration of Superman.
Holt has a lot on his shoulders, and I think that a scene like that where he's just doing it, giving it, I think that's James Gunn being like, I need you to cook. I need you to sort of ground this movie with just your face, just your expression, just your tears, your screaming. And it works so well because we've been sitting through a movie that is a lot of CGI, is a lot of just kind of out there comic booky stuff. And then to kind of hit you at the end with this Lex monologue and him just sort of acting his ass off, is Gunn just being like, hey, I need you to sort of bring this home for me. Yeah. And not to take anything away from Corenswet, who's also great at the end there, and he gets a good monologue too. But Lex is just fucking awesome in the final stretch of this movie.
I mean, Holt's a fucking all-star.
Yeah.
You know, he's an absolute stud.
Have y'all seen The Great? I imagine yes. I mean,
I started it. I saw the first couple.
He's unbelievable in that movie, and like the minute they cast Holt, it's like, okay, yeah, we're good, we're fine. We got that on lock. Like we got it there. That's great.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's had an incredible run. Nosferatu was, I think, the most recent thing.
I can think of another epic vampire movie that he was in.
Mr. Renfield. You forgot about Big R.
My boss is a bit of a bloodsucker.
I would have paid money if you'd come on. Like, look, as the #1 Renfield fan, I have a lot of thoughts on Holt. We should have done that.
Of course, he was juror number 2.
Yeah, the titular. He was the titular juror.
He was good in that movie. Oh my God, he plays John in the Garfield movie.
No, he does not.
So
John Arbuckle.
Yeah. Also, a very underseen film from last year, The Order, which is like this 80s like crime thriller about white supremacists.
Speaking of, I figured that would be, hey, I thought that was a sequel to The Menu, which he's also in.
And he's great in it.
I was going to say, he is the star of Facebook Reel's favorite movie, The Menu, which you can watch scene by scene every morning.
With a weird crop.
Yeah, with a weird crop. And it's about food and making movies. I've never seen The Menu. But,
I mean, that's not the first time.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, man.
I'll tell you right now.
Like a 7 out of 10. It's fine.
Oof.
All right. Yeah.
This is not the first time that Holt has been in a hero movie. He is Beast in the X-Men reboot series.
God, I forgot
right? So
that.
he's not new to this genre, but he approaches this with such a ferocity that it's just, I mean, it's fucking palpable.
It's just, I mean, particularly for a dude who has such like a baby face, like he looks so much younger. For him to carry, like, you know what I mean? For him to feel like such a fleshed out character, when he's been being established very quickly in this movie, that takes a great fucking actor. He's a great actor. It makes sense. He's been doing it since he was like literally like an infant. He's about a boy. He's fucking Skins as like a 13-year-old or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
He fucking rocks.
I'm so excited to see his version of Lex moving forward.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
What do you mean? Lex went to prison.
Dude,
that's true.
He's gonna bulk
surely he won't be getting out of prison.
How large do you think his muscles get?
I don't know, because I mean, does Nick Holt want to get on TRT? Is the question. Like, does he want to do that? Because he might actually go bald if he does it.
Well, that's the thing with Lex, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I read an interview actually, I think with Holt. I might be mistaking it. He might have, I think he was talking about liking how jacked Lex is in a few of them, because it is like that perfect man thing that's still not enough. You know what I mean? I kind of thought he'd be more jacked. I think just because I read that quote, I thought he would be more jacked. But yeah, anyway, Lex, I mean, yeah, Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman there, which is like one of the big inspirations tonally for this movie, is like Lex Luthor is like shredded as hell. Just ripped beyond belief. And it's just, the whole point is like, look, I did this for me. I'm not some freak alien. I did this pure gains. You know, it's a whole thing.
But there's the whole sort of mini recurring bit here about like brains versus brawn, right? And that's why
smart,
right? And that's why Lex doesn't really he fires a gun, but he doesn't really do anything physical. He has his like fallouts.
He plays chess.
1A, 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 1A.
I love that's
fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's very visceral. Honestly, this whole time I've just you reminded me that he was Beast. We watched all the X-Men last year, and like I forgot that. And I'm telling you, like that back half of those movies, you can watch like Nicholas Holt getting ready to walk off set in every scene. Like not out of anger, just more of like, all right, so am I clock off? Am I ready to go? That's really the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, we covered Dark Phoenix on this podcast, and folks can go back and listen to me actively like falling apart in the middle of that.
Yeah,
that
was tough shit, dude. Oh my god!
I wanted to ask
when it came out.
Yeah, 2019, baby.
Oh wow.
Because I wanted to ask you, Drew, because we were like, there was a point when we were like actively covering a lot of these movies, pretty much all of them as main releases. And right around COVID, right before COVID, we get Avengers Endgame.
That was where I dipped.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, I know you haven't been watching these, but I know you watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And did you watch the Spider-Man with the Toby and Andrew coming back?
No.
Okay.
I don't wanna.
So it's super. I'm just curious, like, when was the last time you saw a superhero movie that you liked as much as Superman? I know you haven't been watching,
Good question.
but what's like,
I mean, the last time would be Endgame.
okay,
Like it hasn't.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's all felt so stale.
Exactly. Because just looking at this, like I have the list pulled up and it's just,
Yeah, let me know what you see. What do you got?
it's just so bleak.
I didn't watch.
Let's hit it. Let's hit it.
I tell me if I missed something in Quantumania, but
Because Harry, we had you on to cover that Spider-Man movie, which I'm guessing. Yes, No Way Home. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
no,
there is
you're
an
making that
episode
up. No.
of this podcast with you and Hunter and me talking about Spider-Man No Way Home.
we could gaslight Harry into thinking that, like, Harry, you've been on all 600 of these fucking podcasts.
I was like,
but
are you
I mean,
sure?
it's
All right, it's fine.
it is incredibly bleak. I mean, if we just started Endgame 2021, and we just go in order, Spider-Man Far From Home, which I like,
Okay. Yeah.
Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Oh, I guess you saw that one, Drew. But that's something else. That feels like different enough.
Similar enough to other things too that it didn't exactly like. I liked it. It didn't like blow my fucking brains out.
Wonder Woman 84.
I haven't seen it.
Black Widow. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Shang-Chi. Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Eternals. The Batman. Okay, we covered that. That one was
Batman's pretty good. That's a good movie.
Like the Batman. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something in the way.
Yeah. Hey, he turned his script in for part 2.
We're doing it.
Which I'd be curious to see if they decide to put Robert Pattinson in this.
I think the better question is, it would be interesting to see if Robert Pattinson decides to be
or to make.
I was going to say
in it.
Matt Reeves would shoot James Gunn in the head. There's no fucking way. Like, I just don't. I mean, maybe they do. I don't really.
Robert Pattinson would shoot David Corenswet in the head.
I've had a theory that movie's just not going to happen, or it's not going to happen with like Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson.
I'd be absolutely fine with that.
Okay, then it's the second Doctor Strange movie, which
I like that movie a lot, but I had a good time at the theater.
Has problems.
Kind of like specific to that.
It's a Sam Raimi movie.
Didn't watch.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi found dead in Miami.
Dog, I hate that movie more than the Baravians hate the Jarpurians. Like, I think that movie is so
Do you
obnoxious.
even know what you're saying?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to DC prison. I hate that movie so much. Go on.
Black Adam, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Really, really terrible. Although Pierce Brosnan's as Dr. Fate could maybe come back into the fold here. I'd like to see it.
Slip in
are you trying to get me excited for that?
Pierce Brosnan's Black Adam's coming.
You could put him in here. You could put him in here.
That was one of the post credits of Superman. Actually, it was Pierce Brosnan.
So this is when it really gets bleak here. Black Panther 2, Ant-Man Quantumania,
no way,
and Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods, which that was like 2023, and that's when it looked like it was over. Also The Flash.
These all sound like 100 years ago. None of these came out. Well, no.
Oh,
way.
and the Marvels.
No,
the Marvels.
I'm looking at these years, and I'm just mind blown. I'm absolutely mind blown that Thor: Love and Thunder was like only a couple years ago. That feels like it was like ancient. It left my brain immediately.
Right in the middle there, we did get Spider-Verse 2. We had Across the Spider-Verse, which is like kind of the exception to all of this.
Did you say Craven?
Oof.
Madam Web? You forgot about Madam Web.
Yeah, we had Aquaman 2, Madam Web. Everyone's favorite movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. Which we got lots of great comments about on our episode.
This is truly like a horrific list. Like, this is actually kind of depressing, man. Okay, I'm glad you're pulling it up, but
that said, though, Blue Beetle does kind of slap.
I love that I said this is depressing, and you're like, "Hey, hold up, Blue Beetle." Let me keep.
Yeah, and then now we get to Joker 2, Captain America: Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. and then boom,
I like
we're here.
Thunderbolts.
We're at Superman. And I think I think that a lot of people are probably going to dismiss Superman because of this run.
Well,
because it's just been so
but
bleak.
that's why it's, I mean, it had a lot to work against, and it successfully did that. The word of mouth has worked with this movie. I think in this case I do represent like the common folk opinion, which is like
Sure.
I went in, you know, I had to be like, I wouldn't have gone on my own. That's what I'll say. I went, you know what I mean? I went because there was a group of us. I had no expectations, no interest. And I was like, hey, actually that was good. And I've been telling people since then that it was good, which I never thought I would fucking do again. So
not the best movie.
No,
ever,
absolutely not.
just
but
an enjoyable time.
It's a successful movie.
Yeah.
Like, it is successful. It does what it aims to do. So congratulations, James. Also, to the point that what you said earlier about how like this is James's full-time thing compared to other directors, that makes it so he has to insert more of himself into these, because he doesn't get the outlet of making something whole cloth. That, you know what I mean? And so what you get is him. What you get is like him ending this with a teddy bear song.
Hell yeah.
Which is like,
So cool.
you know what I mean? That's absolutely insane to do. Like, no,
and the shots of his upbringing, which who filmed that?
His uncle. No, no great critical point. I think that's just a wonderful ending to the movie. I think it's like
It's sweet.
a really fucking good capper.
It's so lovely, and that song is a great fucking song. Like it, but that's, you know, you get cool stuff like that. Whereas, you know, it would be really funny if like Chloe Zhao, like in Eternal, she snuck in a couple non-actor like homeless people or whatever.
Right.
You know,
That's
like
funny,
he
though.
has to. That's why I forgive a lot of his like self-flagellation in his movie, like, because this is his main deal. And so congrats to him. It's not like as bad as like Malcolm and Marie. You remember that? Yeah. That is tough. That is when inserting your own narrative into a movie goes wrong.
Stop making up movies. I do not know what you're talking about. No, that's the Euphoria guy making
it. Is
about, like,
it's him making a movie in which I've never been so mad in my whole life, Harry. I swear. So Malcolm is basically him. Even though Malcolm in the movie, you may remember, he's a black man, and this is a very white guy in real life. He has
not Barry Levinson.
Yes, but in the movie,
Sam
Levinson.
In the movie, Malcolm is very upset at a critic that has the exact same name as a critic that was really mean to Sam Levinson. But in the movie, he made the critic racist because Malcolm is black. It's
wow.
So shitty. I cannot. Anyway, that's why I'm fine with James
Googling picture
canceling himself.
Googling pictures of Sam Levinson is always the funniest part of any day. Like, look at any picture of him and you're like, oh yeah, for sure. That is definitely you.
It looks fucked up. We didn't talk enough about Jimmy Olsen Heartthrob. Any thoughts, Harry? What's the deal here?
He's got Riz, man. He's got the whole deal. It's like I did not expect them to take him there, but it's really, really funny. Now, that said, I do think the weird joke with his ex didn't always play. Like, it went on a little too long. That's also
exactly.
A very James Gunn thing.
Yeah.
But it's cute. And like the idea is cute.
Yeah.
So
James Gunn is always gonna like overcook jokes. Like, he's gonna take him a little.
I like that actress, the Teschmacher.
I liked her.
Telmacher,
I think generally like the movie's relationship with the internet is very like 2010s, like mid 2010s. Sure. The way that her character is all just selfies and like hashtags. You know what I mean? That's so like 2012.
I was so worried about the internet and social media existing in this universe.
That's, you know.
I don't think it was a disaster. As much as I don't think it was a disaster, I thought it was going to be a disaster, and it ended up being fine.
I mean, honestly, again, it's a shallow bench, but like, even with like this movie barely having a lot of Daily Planet stuff, Jimmy still probably has twice as much in this movie he has in the other movies combined.
Yeah, they never use him.
He's like a CIA op. Like, hidden op in Batman v Superman and gets shot in the head in the first 10 minutes.
And they don't even say his name. You wouldn't even know that that's him. It's so stupid.
It's in the extent. And with that, you know?
And by the way, Beck Bennett's character, that's Scoot McNairy in Batman v Superman.
I love how he doesn't get a chair in the Mr.
Yeah.
Terrific mobile.
Yeah.
It's just like, where's my seat?
What the hell? Shout out Beck.
The gentle giant. Harry, thoughts on journalism as depicted in Superman?
Clark's a terrible journalist. Clark needs to be sent to the space Hague for his journalism. No, I mean, I do think that's the movie trying to poke at it, is that like Clark is not a good writer, which is kind of an interesting take, to be honest. But no, I mean, it's a fantasy world. It's not, there's no reality here. I don't really need there to be. The reality is in the human interactions more than like any. It's nice to see a world where the corrupt billionaire gets taken down by the press because people believe it. I'm not mad about that,
Mhm.
you know. That's kinda nice.
Another just quick note toward like it just being jam-packed with plot is like there's also like a giant split through the entire city at the end of this movie.
Yeah. We forgot about the wormhole. That was fine. I mean,
No one dies.
Yeah.
The entire city very calmly exits and it's all good.
Well, I do like the idea there that like they're used to it. Like they've done this more than once.
That part is enjoyable. Also, like I kind of get the idea that like no one is super pressed about all this because Superman truly doesn't let anyone fucking die. Like he saves like squirrels from dying.
Great moment. I wanted to shout out the moment when he saves that woman on the bridge. He like holds the building, and then the shot of him flying up through the debris.
It's really
and her
nice.
looking back at him.
Yeah.
Brother,
It's Superman.
that is the juice right there.
Yeah, man. Just the bright blue of the costume. It looked really good on real IMAX. That was like a really nice moment.
I didn't realize that this city is actually supposed to be sort of like a simulacra of Cleveland.
It was shot there.
If you're really to trace it to like old comic lineage, is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could be Schuster and Siegel, the New York. I mean, sorry, the teens that made Superman. They're from Ohio. They're from Cleveland.
One of them, yeah. The other one's Canadian,
Okay.
I think.
I've lost all track, but like,
imagine a world where Cleveland matters this much. It's like some sort of epicenter of anything.
Well, a lot of Zionists are really mad about that because they are Jewish, and I mean, Superman is like a Moses, Jewish parable.
It's that filtered through like that classic Americana thing. But yeah, the roots it's very much a Jewish story.
There's a lot of Zionists who are really pissed off about what James Gunn did here.
Again, it's Baravia, so I don't understand why.
Yeah,
that was my bit this whole movie. Being like, what are you guys talking about?
I thought Israel was Jarhanpur, and
yeah, they're the poor ones.
Guy just like has no idea.
Not in a separate conversation from geopolitical horrors. Like I genuinely love that this is a fictional world with fictional names. Like this isn't a world where New York's important. You've got Metropolis, you got Gotham, you got fake countries. Like it just, the EW article I sent you, Ernest, when I realized that's what they were doing, I was like, oh, okay, this has a better understanding of how to play this than anything so far.
The world, it's Superman in this world, and I think it's him clashing with the world in really interesting ways, and his desire to help and to do the right thing really bumping against the world, and people just not vibing with his choices, right? Like he chooses
his corny ass.
He chooses to put himself in here, and it has consequences, and that's really what the movie's about, just by trying to do the right thing.
We should all be like Superman.
Okay, so as we wind down, I just had a couple stray notes I wanted to hit. I wanted to loop back on something from the very beginning that you said, Harry, about Superman striving, or not even striving, but just naturally making the people around him better.
Yeah. And
I think that this movie really circles that point in very interesting ways. Specifically, the moment when the Justice Gang saves the day at the end. Yeah. And not Superman. Superman's not the one to stop the war. It's the Justice Gang. I think that the choice to do that, the choice for Gunn to do that with all of the political baggage that this movie has, is really interesting, because I think if Superman would have saved the day there, it would have made things extremely muddy. Sure. Just the optics of like, oh, no one is going to save the people of Palestine and Superman doesn't exist in our reality, but he doesn't do that. He has somebody else do the saving. So I'm just curious what you guys think about that, what Gunn might be trying to say there in terms of like how we can take on the ideals of Superman to be the ones to do the saving. There's something there.
I think generally I think the farthest that he wanted to take this metaphor and this idea was like, hey, look at this through the lens of simple good and bad, and it's very clear who's doing good and who's doing bad. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't think that he wanted to delve too far into resolution and how we should and versus how he did it. Isn't there like a comic book precedent for like Superman sending in this group to save someone? Is that right?
Dude, not this specific. I mean, there's been a million stories about Superman getting involved with the war, but like I genuinely, I know there's a lot. I mean, the comparisons to real world countries are undeniable, and like that is just what I think it's pretty clear that was part of what he was writing. But like I think more what he's going for is a humanist thing of like putting those stark terms and making it clear where the situation is. I get a little not uncomfortable, but a little uncertain about when you try to really bring in real world issues into these simplistic stories, because I don't think they're built to handle them. So for me, it's like I don't even know what a more developed storyline of this would be. For me, it's more that just Superman's improving the literal like moral ecosystem of this world in like very stark black and white terms. I think the more complex you get it, like I don't know if it's this kind of, I don't know if this is the kind of movie for that, you know?
I think it's sort of just like, it can almost be encapsulated in that initial like interview scene with Lois, where he's just like, yeah, but they were going to kill people. You know what I mean? It's just like,
had to save.
Yeah. It's just a matter of like, if you look at it simply, it's clear.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
I'm just really, go ahead.
Well, just, the simplicity is the beauty of that character. Like, I think that, and again, you can call that corny, you can call that basic, whatever, but like the idea of just like, like just strive to be better, strive to do the right thing. Don't overcomplicate it in your mind. Like, I do think that's a message we can all take, because we do try to get it twisted maybe more than we should.
I'm just really fascinated by the overlap of all of these ideas, of the geopolitical stuff, of the inherent simplicity of the character, and of any takeaway that we may have in our day-to-day lives after seeing a movie like this that ultimately is just popcorn entertainment. But the fact that it does try to at least insert some type of deeper ideas is an opportunity to be like, okay, what is Gunn trying to say? What message is he trying to get across? And, you know, maybe it's not fully developed and the movie doesn't fully sort of land it, but I think that it's cool that there's a movie that is so corporatized that has this clear idea of being like, hey, you need to try to do the right thing. And even when the world budges against that, you should still try.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's as far as he wanted to take it. I think anyone who expected more than that, like you said, Harry, it's not built for that. Like that's not the ultimate point of these. So to have it in this capacity is nuts. It's cool. Very impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite part of the movie. I think it's the most important part of the movie. I know, like it's what the heart of the movie is. That's the tonal centerpiece. It's not like the anti-portal in New York or whatever.
And that's kind of what Pa is trying to say in his big scene, you know, that it's like we just give you the tools as parents to do that.
That's a great,
it's good.
I mean,
on you.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal scene. Again, he you know, they didn't cast to like, you know, recognizable faces, or even like, you know, to like conventionally like actor attractive faces. They cast to like salt to the earth motherfuckers.
And I know Gunn isn't trying to constantly undercut Snyder, but man, it's so different from everything that happened there. It's like every choice this movie makes is the opposite. In Man of Steel, it was just like, hey, Superman is going to save all of us, and we don't even have to do anything, because we just have to believe that he will save us, and he will, because that's what he does. We don't even have to be any different. And then the other thing
That's
with
a good point.
with Kevin Costner, like telling him that sometimes he has to let people die because that's what happens. It makes no
I
sense.
find that movie so bizarre. I kind of respect that movie for like making every weird choice it can, but like,
Stupid.
yeah, in my opinion, you shouldn't be making the Kents like the morally uncertain gray characters in a Superman origin story. It's still very baffling. It is stupid. I don't hate Man of Steel. There's a lot I like there, but it just cannot get it together at all. And Drew is like, I've never seen that movie, and you can't tell me that I ever did.
The last note I had is that James Gunn, we know he's a big music guy. There aren't that many Neil drops in this movie, but he did take the time to make Spotify playlists for all of his characters. So I recommend folks go on Spotify and look up specifically the Lois Lane playlists that he made.
Okay.
Because they have a whole conversation about like punk rock.
Yeah, by the way, Mighty Crabjoy is found dead in a ditch.
Because they're not
Is that a real
rock.
song?
No, they're not real.
Dang it.
They played the fake song by them at the end of the movie. That was really funny.
Oh,
We are the
really?
Mighty Crabjoy. It's like it sounds like shit.
When did they do that?
It's like right after I'm a punk rocker. Right in the beginning of credits rolling. And it's just a dog shit punk song.
So this is what James Gunn selected for Lois Lane's playlist.
Yeah.
Against Me.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy.
Prima Queen or Prima Queen.
Prima.
Jeff Rosenstock. Car seat headrest. Specifically Something Soon from Teens of Style.
Oh, fuck me, James. I'm gonna bump this up a half star. That settles it. I had it at 3.5 right when I left the theater. We're going to 4.
Under the Table by Banks, Ex Offender by Blondie.
Something Soon is one of the 5 best. That
This is crazy.
good job, James.
Going Underground by The Jam. Oh my God, I didn't even see this one. DVP by Pup from The Dream Is Over.
Yeah.
Early Pup. Wow. Elvis Costello, Dim Wizard, Sprints. Ooh, Nula for Yanya.
No way.
Midnight Sun.
Wow.
Tapes and Tapes, Idols, People Eating People, and Nicole Atkins. So pretty interesting stuff on the Lois Lane playlist. And he made one for every single character.
For Superman, it's like Green Day.
It's Jimmy Eat World, All Time Low.
Jimmy Eat World's great.
Florence,
All Time Low.
Florence and the Machine, Pete Yorn, The Clash, New Radicals.
Superman listening to fucking Dog Days Are
Oh my
Over.
God.
I do that tracks, man. I do think
That's
tracks
so
pretty
funny.
well.
It's Shake It Out. But I think it's that same album. Dude, he put Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God. San Francisco by the Mowglis.
Yeah.
Holy
This is crazy.
This is awesome. I
Pulling
love
out of
this.
like the annals of our brains. He put the
Wow.
Superman
That's
listening to the Mowgli's.
That's so like hardcore millennial. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a direct hit. Wow.
Yeah, he looks
Honestly-
like a Zoomer, but he's a millennial.
He
Yeah.
should have. Yes, he should have. This is gonna be the best day of my life.
yeah, let's be honest. He's got a couple Imagine
Some of
Dragons in
that, some
there somewhere.
AJR. I'm ready.
The thing is,
Wow.
that's like actually lame, not like cute lame. You can't like sell that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's got to be cool still. for
Okay,
Gunn
now
to be into
now I got to do Lex just
Yeah.
to complete the trio
Yeah.
here.
it. Hold on.
I wanna see this.
Lex. I don't know. What do you got?
David Bowie fame.
Okay. Is there
Sure.
is like Breaking Benjamin type shit on there?
No.
It
He's got
should.
He's got Nick Cave. That's interesting.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Serge Gainsbourg. I don't know what that is. Foxy Shazam. Controversy by Prince. Great pick. Death on Two Legs by Queen. Bad Thing by Mia Follick. Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead. This Town Ain't Big Enough by Sparks. Queen by Perfume Genius. Yep, there's the Nick Cave song. Oh, that's the last one. Up Jump the Devil.
No, I feel like this needs to have like Breaking Benjamin or almost like audio slave. You know what I mean?
Yes. Ooh.
I think he gets like
Maybe a little 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he gets in his feelings to like some butt rock, some darker butt rock.
Oh man. Yeah, there's some good ones on here. I might fire this up. Oh my God. No, I'm just hooked at looking at this now, dude. Okay, the Guy Gardner one.
He has one
Whoa,
for Guy.
there's a guy.
Okay, yeah. Before we end,
Does he have one for the engineer?
Probably. Okay, here's the Guy Gardner one. I'm shipping up to Boston by Dropkick Murphys.
Yes, yeah, totally.
That tracks.
Bade Bawa by Kid Rock. Close Your Eyes and Count to Fuck, Run the Jewels.
Oh my God.
Merle Haggard, Louis Logic,
AC/DC,
Dirty Deeds Done to Sheep. Yep. House of Pain, The Replacements, Glenn Campbell, Shining, Wolves of Glendale, Lizzo, Good as Hell, Fat Bottom Girls. Like
He put the Wolves of Glendale.
Oh my God, Low by Flo Rida.
Andrew.
How You Remind Me by Nickelback.
Absolutely.
DMX.
Wow.
And the Muppet and Being Green by the Muppets.
So good. So good.
He does have
Good job,
for the
James.
engineer. You got to be shitting me.
Does he really?
Just such a nothing character. I guess
Well,
are we
not real- Dude, she's got a playlist. I feel like she's got this is a lot.
Yeah. All right, yo. Any final thoughts on Superman, James Gunn? Any hopes for Supergirl? I'm excited for the Lanterns TV show. Damon
I am too.
Lindelof, my boy,
Oh no.
coming back.
It's just right now in this moment, it can change. It probably will, but in this moment, there's like 5 things I've heard were getting made that I did not care a bit about. And now I'm like, yeah, I actually would like to know a little bit more about a few of these. And like, that is impressive after you rattled off that list of like the most D- superhero movies I've ever heard of over the last 5 years.
It's been bleak, man. Yeah.
It's been bleak.
rough.
The cast of Lanterns is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Pierre is really cool.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah.
Rebel Ridge. What's up, Rebel Ridge?
He literally is. They got Rebel Ridge in that shit.
That is a show being made, I think, in part with Tom King, who's definitely like one of DC's golden boys right now. Tom King wrote the Supergirl book that the movie's based on.
Mhm.
I like Tom King. He's ex-CIA, so obviously the internet loves to hate him, and whatever. But like he's got interesting stuff. He writes a lot. He really banked on writing about depression for a long time. I don't know. I'm curious. That's kind of how I feel about a lot of Tom King stuff. This is one of them now.
I hope that
Yeah.
Gunn will let each one of these things sort of have its own identity as much as possible and not try to fit them into what he did here.
There's 2 things he's talked about that actually made me feel better about this whole adventure more than anything. The first one was like a Wired video being like, where did Superman get his powers or whatever? And Gunn's answer was, there's a lot of different comics. It changes, which is genuinely the most accurate thing you could ever say about this crap.
Yeah,
The
it'll
other
be
one is
fine,
that-
whatever.
It'll be fine. Yeah. The other one is that he was like, he basically said he was like, I like to believe the audience can understand the visual style or the vibe will change, but they'll understand it's the same world. And that is like the comics do. And that is genuinely the smartest thing he could say.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm like, wow, maybe this is actually happening. Maybe this is going to be good.
That would be ideal because MCU really had trouble with that. Like the farthest they would get is like, well, in this world, everything's a little funnier.
And not for long. We're just gonna make everything
Loki's
fun.
hair is just a little longer.
I'm hopeful, man, not to be too corny about Superman. This was something special for me. This weird, I know it sounds silly, but this is something I really wanted when I was getting into Superman. I'm at a point in my life now where I don't care in the same way, but like it's almost like closure for like what I used to want in like high school and college. I'm kind of shocked we got it, you know.
They made a cool Superman movie that was good. Wow. What a concept.
Up next, he needs to tackle Ant-Man to get Ant-Man good. Let's get.
All right, Harry. Thank you so much, and thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know your thoughts on Superman 2025. Visit WeBoughAMic.net. Get every episode in your inbox. Join the Discord, patreon.com/WeBoughAMic. $5 a month. Thank you to everyone who supports this podcast. Next week, it's Fantastic Four, it's Eddington, and I think it might be time to reveal our bracket for our next career arc series. Folks are gonna get to vote to decide who we cover next. We'll probably start it up later this fall. Yeah, so look forward to that. But before then, you know, we gotta keep chilling. It's summertime. It's hot. You know, we gotta keep it as cool as possible. So that's why we got things like Superman and Fantastic Four to keep us cool. It's a bit of a back to basics time for summer movie, you know. So
absolutely.
Hopefully that one hits as good as this one did. But thank you, Harry. Any final words of advice? Anything you'd like to say before we go?
Just be corny. It's a more fun way to live. I highly recommend it.
Because I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye. Dude, I've been listening to so much clips.
Oh,
so
it's
good.
Yeah, it's clicking for me. It's still not my favorite album by them because Hell Have No Fury.
I've been really getting into. I was just listening to that before you.
It's so like, dude, that's 4-song stretch I sent in the group chat. That is pound for pound the best like 4 beats I've ever heard in my fucking life. Like they're so fucking good. It's mind boggling.
I love this new album. I think it's my album of the year.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, Tame is gonna come in there hot.
Tyler
maybe. I mean,
we'll see.
I haven't loved Tyler's post Igor stuff as much as I would want to, but I mean, it's still good. It's not like I don't
but well, I mean, his verse on POV might be the best thing that he's done since Igor.
Yes,
it's
so good.
It's just, it shows to me like the nerd side of Tyler that like you know what I mean? He's such a good writer and like a historian of hip hop that he's like, oh, I need to write like a Clips verse. Like, you know what I mean? Like he wrote a perfect Pusha T verse.
When it first starts, you don't realize that it's Tyler.
Yeah.
It takes like a couple
like
bars to be like, oh,
exactly. He like does the affect and just like the It's so
what are we
good.
talking about?
Clips.
Oh,
you listen to the new Clips album?
No, I'm not cool with music. You guys are like 8 times more knowledgeable about music than me. I saw you posting about Clips.
It's really good.
I'll listen to it. Yeah.
There's a stretch. Toward I like the middle third, I guess, better than the rest of the album. The beginning of the album, the beats sound like more like Kanye beats to me. They don't sound like Pharrell. Which not like that's bad, but that's just not Clips to me. But then once you get into like all the abbreviation songs, those are all disgusting.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Mike Tyson, blow to the face.
That
might be my favorite.
I'm adding Chains and Whips to my playlist.
That's a really good one.
All right,
you can start there.
See. All right.
Yellow diamonds look like pee.
And that is what Superman's message to all of us is.
Yuck.
What Drew just said. Yuck.
I need someone to do like a Clips Superman like fan cam edit. That would be so fucking cool. Just Lex Luthor just being a fucking hater, just like Clips is.